We are live. We are direct with the energetic queen herself, my favorite Pfeiffer, Elizabeth Pfeiffer, who helps her clients to step into the next level, knowing that their higher self isn't waiting for them to be ready, but is demanding they step to that next level of growth by tapping into energetics, moving from fear to service to joy to limitless power, embodying their mission on earth, stepping into
Yes.
empowered power, magnetic growth, limitless expansion. She creates spaces for women to expand their capacity for power, visibility, and wealth. Welcome to She Leads, She Sells, the incredible Elizabeth Pfeiffer. Speak to me, sister.
Wow, what an opening. Oh my gosh, I need to hire you as my MC. That was
Get me involved.
amazing. What's
Fly me
that?
out from London. Fly me out, my
Yeah,
sister. Come on. 100%.
amazing, very flattering. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to be able to share with you all.
Women lie, men definitely lie, but energy doesn't lie, my sister.
Energy does not lie, and if you're intuitive, we're gonna pick it up before you even open your mouth.
100%. Speak to me. Tell me, who do you love to serve the most? They got the offer established, they're making 10K to 50. You help to kind of expand them. I'm guessing that you don't really work with the newbies as much because they're still figuring things out, or yeah, let me know.
So I do a little bit of both. So my ideal client are those who are already manifesting. They already know how to do those basic things in order to get the clients. They're the type that kind of bring in everybody, but somehow they just trip on over themselves. They get to this spot where they're like really making a lot of money and their nervous system shuts down. Or they get to this spot where they're making this big leap that they have to go through to the next session and their identity comes in.
Mm.
Or they come to me and they're like, Elizabeth, I've been trying to scale my business and make some more money, but I can't quite get there. There's something in the way. And that's where I come in with connection to your source, with your energetics. I've developed a new energy modality called Nodal Architecture. It's energetic architecture where it's an entire system that kind of plays nice together. But instead of treating the symptoms of what is happening in someone's energy field, we're treating the whole system. So we get to that root cause and then the whole system clears. And that's why people are like poof, like they feel as if a block, I don't like to use that word, but a block has been removed, but it's more like they've given themselves permission to claim more, to be more, and to be regulated in doing so.
Wow, powerful. Nah, amazing. Well stated there. Let me know. It's a visibility game. Like, you could be the best transformation artist in the world. If no one knows about you, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me know. How are you getting visible, my sister?
I get visible. I'm everywhere. I'm on TikTok, I'm making Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm everywhere. So my visibility, I'm on YouTube. My visibility is high. I repurpose, and that's the key to visibility when you're in business is you take the pieces that you're working with and you put them wherever you can, right? Because your clients are everywhere, but not all of them are on Facebook. Not all of them are on YouTube. They're scattered just as much. So to have a presence on social media is very important. And what I do is even though I'm everywhere, I only really focus on the ones that light me up on the
Wow.
on the yeah, on the social media ones that really are fun for me. They're easy for me. And I focus my attraction levels there.
Okay, no, that makes sense. And in terms of conversion, we speaking about, I see you do master classes. Do you take one-to-one, like enrollment calls? Like in terms of conversion, what does that look like?
So my business model is mostly courses, digital courses, but I do digital courses in a different way because I do love that one-to-one connection. I
Hmm.
do love with kind of getting in with people. So even my courses has a one-to-one, not a one-to-one, but has access. So we just finished up a 7-day intensive called Money Energetics. I held it on Telegram.
Oh,
So this way we could talk about after you took the recorded modules, now you can come into Telegram and ask your questions, right? Because I always found like even with like $10 courses, you have questions, right? After that $10, there's just like, but there's still questions. And my service, if you will, is to not just provide you the material and wish you well on your way. It's to be there to answer those questions and to direct you because once you leave that container, if you love it and I've served you, you're going to want to come with me into my next one. And that's where we are right now. Like everybody who started with me in Money Energetics has now bumped into all of my other programs. So I have like a feeder funnel, if you will, that it's step by step. And each step increases in intensity, increases in information, increases in energetics. And then there is the holy grail container. I do have a high ticket container, but I'm very specific with who enters into that container because that is full on balls to the wall with me. You get energetics, you get nervous system regulation, you get identity, you get mindset, you get my whole package there. And I only take about 3 or 4 of those higher ticket clients a year because I do offer access. So part of my one-to-one is daily access through Telegram. So I'm always available, not in a negative way, but in a way in which if you have questions, you can pop it into Telegram. Now, I mean, I'm not doing therapy every day in Telegram, mind you. We do have some boundaries. But we do have that availability in that you're not feeling as if you're left to kind of figure it out on your own.
Okay. And thanks for sharing that. What's the big plan in 2026? I know we've encroached into Q2 now. What's the big plan for you?
My big plan is to expose and get my nodal architecture work out there. We've been doing a little bit of seeding right now, and we're getting amazing results. It's one of those things where like, you know how it is when you go through a process with people, you see things and how people are working and how they're reacting to your work. And for me, nodal architecture came up in response to a question to source. And it was after listening to some people online complaining about coaches that they've hired that they weren't getting results even after they spent thousands of dollars in energy work and mindset work. So I sat down one day and I asked source, like, why is that? Like,
Mm,
I know they're investing,
yeah.
I know they want the shift. Why why does it keep rubber banding back? Why do they get the shift? They're great for 30 days and then it's like they hit a wall and they start all over. And it's like be careful what you wish for, be careful what you ask for because that's when I downloaded the Nodal Architecture program. It took me 4 months to
Wow.
figure it out for myself, to bring in the codes and to bring in and learn the system. And now we're just launching it, we're just putting it out there, and the results are amazing. So I want to take that to more people. Less rubber bands, more quality shift.
Wow. I love the detail that you're going in terms of your work and how you're creating it. So, extremely powerful there.
Not at all.
Okay, cool.
Not at
No
all.
worries. Yeah, so in terms of your views on leadership, a bit
Mhm.
about what your views on leadership are and how that impacts in terms of your coaching.
So for me, leadership in my business starts with myself, right? So the mainstay of my practice is we embody the leadership energy that we want to be, and then we reflect that to others and model that in the world, right? So it's constantly really for myself, it's really embodying who I want to be as a leader and what I want to bring forth, and having to really hold myself to my own standard, really, in that leadership and how I serve and who I connect with and how I teach and how I present myself, um, and really kind of embody what I feel these other healers and coaches are looking for as well. Like, they want to be, right? They want to be embodied. They want to spread their word. They want to feel like they can speak and be visible. And the only way that you can really do that is if you show them that there's somebody already out there doing it, and lead by example. So I guess my service level is leading by example.
Okay. No, I really love the whole element of modeling and leading by example. I think, I used to teach, and yeah, definitely modeling helps. And that's what I use in terms of coaching as well, like modeling. So people are able to see what success looks like.
Yeah, what's possible, even what's
Yeah.
possible. I remember a long time ago for myself, and I was following someone who was modeling, what I wanted to be. And she would share things about what it is she was creating. And I remember sitting on the other side of that fence going, oh my God, I didn't even know I could ask for
Mm.
that. Right? I didn't even know that that was available to me, and so that's the type of leadership that I thought was like, yes, because that's opening the mind and the possibilities, and that's who I wanted to be.
No, that makes sense. Currently, I'm digging into this book, Brene Brown, Daring Greatly,
Okay.
and really being about having the courage to step into your authentic self. It might not make sense to
Yes.
others, or you might feel like I'm not following the crowd, but being the authentic self gives you the power, gives you the strength.
It does, and it also gives you massive
Mm.
magnetics, being
Wow.
yourself, because that is that is the attraction
Wow.
field. You are, and I teach that. You are the attraction field, not what you say or quote from other people, but what you say, right? Your unique signature, your unique perspective is what people are attracted to. And, anybody can say anything's, quoted on the internet, but if you come up with something different, you have your energy behind
Love.
it, that sets you apart.
I love that. I love stepping into the unique thing. I mean, when people used to copy like my whiteboard methodology and they used to copy it, it used to kind of rattle me a little bit. Then I understood that they'll be on to the next thing when they lose interest and things. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Because it's not their passion. Like, that's your
yeah,
passion,
100%.
right? I used to see my words, model right energy, reflect solutions, and I the same type of response. Like, I used to see, like, parrots all over, and then I had to remember, you know what? They're learning that. That's how they're embodying that methodology, and like you said, in a couple of months, they're not gonna use that terminology anymore because it's me,
100%.
because it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll develop their own language. But for some people, copying language and things like that is the way that they learn.
Okay.
That's how they learn the processing. And so, yeah, it used to bother me for a little bit, like, "Did you just steal my stuff?" And then and then it's just like, "Okay, okay, let's roll that back a lot," because that's what I want. I want my stuff to be out there.
100%. Yeah.
Um yeah, and, now that was, like, 5 years ago, and now they're not even doing anything remotely to that, so, it disappears.
Yeah. I think as one of my mentors, Melanie Ann Leah, she speaks about stay in power, stay in power. And so, ultimately that's what, succeeds. There's lots of experts and coaches who are dropping out now because
Yeah,
market's getting a little bit, people are a bit more skeptical. You know, people need a bit more
Mhm.
clarity. Maybe people need different options. But the people that
Yeah.
maybe weren't willing to go deep, you know, you exit because it's not something that you can fake in that regard. So,
No, and entrepreneurship is not something that is easy.
mm,
I don't, it will it is from my perspective, it is a completely brand new spiritual evolution. It will challenge you to your core. You will look at your ego,
mm,
you will look at your
yeah,
shadows just through trying to get a business out and up and running.
100%. What book are you reading now? I know I showed you the book there. Are you reading anything now? Any insight?
I do. I have studied this for a really
What's that?
long time, and it's energy healing. You could see all my my notes
Okay,
here, and it's by Cindy Dale.
okay.
It's for trauma, stress, and chronic illness. And I get a lot of clients, even though they're coming to me for business, they still have a lot of unresolved trauma
Hmm.
that is part of the reason why their nervous system is all screwed up. Their identity isn't quite where it needs to be. So I've been studying that literally with all those tabs in order to weave that into my
All right,
practice so that people can unravel.
amazing. And does it talk about shadow work or energy clearing? Like, what sort of thing is it?
Yeah, definitely energy clearing, balancing, more so in the etheric fields, which is outside of the body, all the kind of spiritual energy work, not necessarily like your mindset work or your identity
Okay,
work.
fair. Yeah.
This is more kind of a little further out there.
That makes sense. And we have to get as many tools as we can, begin to use them. What's your what's your vision for the next 10 years? Like, what impact do you want to make? How do you want to be remembered?
Yeah. So for me, my over my next 10 years, I actually want to create something
Mm,
large, like big retreats, like really powerful, impactful retreats where people can literally come and leave transformed. Like even over, oh, I'm getting chills around that. Even like over a weekend where it's not just a fun experience where we get to lay out on the beach, but it's like real deep work because I really believe that we have kind of what's the word I'm looking for? For lack of a better word, we kind of messed ourselves up by focusing so much of our perceptions externally on the outer world that I'm really focused on helping people create a sovereign inner world
beautiful.
and claiming
Oh,
that
how
power.
beautiful that is. How beautiful that
Yeah,
is.
more people in their power is really my world vision.
Mm,
More people understanding what that is and being really able to experience it physically in their own energy.
amazing. Have you got a book out on that you want to plug?
I don't have a book. I
We need
haven't
this,
quite
sister.
gotten there yet.
We need this.
I do have like a little
Yeah.
book on that I put on Amazon, just a little
Okay,
pamphlet
nice.
that is activated.
Yeah.
I stretched out a little bit there, but I did create my Nodal Architecture book. That's
Lovely.
gonna be
Wow.
yeah, so
How
it
did you make that?
yeah, it
How
has
did you make that diagram?
that is AI.
What?
Um,
Don't tell me that's Chat GPT. Is it Chat GPT?
um, is this one ChatGTP? I think it might
Oh,
be,
looks
actually.
very good.
But I made this, like, last year,
Okay.
not when I realized Sam Altman's a little cuckoo for
No,
coconuts.
no, no. Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, so that's ChatGTP, but, that also holds the 265 plus master codes
Wow.
for the Nodal architecture. So, I did create a book, but it's just not public.
Good stuff. I mean, I'm just finishing rounding off on my book right now, and it's been the most challenging thing maybe I've ever done because it's forced me to go deep,
Yeah.
and it's forced me to,
In your own In your own personal stuff, you mean?
yeah,
Going deep in
go
your own
deep in terms of why my methodologies work, and move it from it being a strategy to it being a spirit tool.
Oh,
being an
nice.
energetic tool. 'Cause it's a whiteboard methodology. And it's almost as though, like, when you map out visions on a whiteboard, it connects faster to the subconscious mind. And it
Yes,
and it's the
yes.
subconscious
'Cause
mind that
yeah,
that's 90% of decision making. And so it's like you can
yes,
explain, or you can, vision cast, and you tell
yes.
them, step into 7-figure, 8-figure. What are they feeling? What are they doing? That type of thing.
That's amazing, and a lot of people I find, like in my world, in my people, they're a little neurospicy and visual sometimes doesn't work for them, but the majority of the population is
Are
visually
visual learners,
oriented.
correct?
Yeah, they're visual learners. Myself, I'm an auditory
Okay.
learner. And I have a lot of people who are the same, so they listen, but for people who are visual learners, somebody like me who teaches auditorially, it's not gonna click as much as someone who does visual work. And that's important in finding a coach that works for you in the way in which you learn.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the way I kind of speak to it in terms of people is that when you open up a whiteboard, it's not just visual learning in that regard. It's kinesthetic with the feelings, and it's
Yeah.
auditory. And so you're really getting all three um
Oh, I like
of the
that.
senses, right? Because, we could be talking right now, auditorily, and kind of, yeah, we learn by this, but then it's like, okay, all right, this. Okay. And it kind of adds an extra
Yeah.
dimension.
Yeah.
Here's this, and it kind of adds the element and things like this. But, I think, as you said, it's important there to understand
Yeah,
who
no, I
you
love
are, and,
that.
and how you learn. So, yeah, let them know how they can get in contact with you, and who you serve specifically.
Yeah, so you could reach me, mostly I have a nice private little group on Facebook called Quantum
Ooh,
Living. So I do a lot of extra things that I don't do on my public pages in there. So like free sessions sometimes, live streams, I do that all in there. That's a great way to kind of get to know me other than through posts. But I do have a website. It's elizabethpfeiffer.com. You can reach me over there. And I'm really targeting people, mostly healers and coaches who are spiritually awakened and aware. Maybe you're empathic, maybe you're having a little bit of energy issues with boundaries, or maybe you're having nervous system regulation issues or identity pieces, but mostly manifestation and energy work is where I usually focus. I love focusing on money. I love seeing people with money wins. That just lights me up. But also, like, it's kind of like a whole service, like a holistic service. So we do all of the pieces, not just your money, but the body and the being that is actually the creator of those things.
amazing. A pleasure's being, Elizabeth, to connect with you today. Thank you ever so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. This was really lovely. Thank you very
So we're
much.
with the main firefighter, Elizabeth, in the building. She leads, she sells. Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen.